अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। साक्षाद्धरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रैरुक्तस्तथा भाव्यते एव सद्भिः किन्तु प्रभोर्यः प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरुः श्रीचरणारविन्दं यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्याप्रसादान्न गतिः कुतोऽपि ध्यायन्स्तु वंस्तस्य यशस्त्रिसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरोः श्रीचरणारविन्दं नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Sarvebhyo namaskara. Welcome to this session. We are listening to Krishna Katha. Sat-katha is Krishna Katha. We are listening to the Dashama Skanda of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Dashama Skanda begins with this shloka. This is spoken by the king Parikshit to the sage Shuka Muni. Nivritta tarshaihi upagiyamanat bhavaushadaat shrotra manobhiramat ka uttama shloka gunanuvadat puman virajyeta vinapashubhnat. So he says that who will not like to listen to these wonderful narratives of Sri Krishna, which are so sweet. They describe the exalted qualities. Uttama means such great qualities of this personality. Which human being will not like to listen? And they are actually such that even the best of scholars, they praise them. The best of the learned people, the wise people, the scholars, they praise the qualities of this personality, Krishna. And they are actually a medicine for our suffering. The suffering and the anxieties and the pain and the tension and the stress that we face in this world. Listening to these narratives is the best medicine, he says. And he says it's also so pleasant, they're so pleasant to hear. So who will not want to listen to them? He begins with this and then he urges Shukamuni to narrate the different activities that Sri Krishna did and his qualities and so on. And that is how the Dashama Skanda unfolds. So subsequently, we heard about how the narratives begin with Bhumi Devi. She's actually very troubled and she goes to Brahma asking for relief. And in turn, Brahma and the Devas go to Vishnu and plead with him to help them. And he says, I will appear myself. And he requests the Devas to also appear and participate in the activities along with him. Subsequent to that, we hear about the marriage procession, the marriage of Devaki and Vasudeva, and suddenly the Ashariri Vak or the invisible voice is heard, which is addressing Kamsa, and it tells Kamsa that the eighth child of this girl will kill you, your sister whom you are carrying on this chariot. The eighth child will kill you. So then Kamsa goes into a great panic mode, anxiety. He tries to kill his sister. Vasudeva saves her by assuring him that he will hand over all the babies as they are born. Subsequently, he starts doing that when Vasudeva has the first child. He hands over to Kamsa. Kamsa says, no, it's not required. Then Narada visits Kamsa and tells him that any baby could be the first one, eighth one. So we cannot say, so be very careful. So then onwards, Kamsa is now in much greater anxiety, and so he kills all the babies as they are born. So he kills the first six babies. Then the seventh one is Anantasesha himself, and he is transferred from Devaki's womb to Rohini's womb by Yogamaya. We heard this, and then subsequently Sri Krishna's manifestation. So Krishna then appears in the mind of Vasudeva, and from Vasudeva he is transferred to the womb of Devaki. And Devaki bears him, and she becomes very beautiful, very attractive when Krishna is inside her. And subsequently, in the last session that we listened to before Janmashtami, Sri Krishna appears in front of Devaki and Vasudeva as a small child. And Vasudeva looks at him, and he sees the child as having four hands. He's holding Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, and he's got so many ornaments. He's dressed in a yellow garment. It's not like a normal human baby which takes birth. It is actually Vishnu himself who has appeared in that form. So he looks at that with astonishment, and subsequently he begins to offer his stuti to Bhagwan. So before we hear the stuti, let's do a simple exercise, a very simple exercise in which I want you to think of a person in your mind, a person that you like very much, anyone. It could be someone closely related to you, someone you interact with regularly, or it could be a celebrity whom you don't know personally, or they don't know you, but you know them from the news and so on. So you adore that person, you like that person very much. It could be anyone. So please think of that person. You don't have to tell us who that person is, but you should answer these questions. What about that person makes you like them so much? Why do you like that person so much? What do you expect from that person? By feeling that liking, do you expect anything from that person, either for yourself or in their behavior? Do you expect something? What do you wish for that person? What would you like to offer that person if at all you interact with them? Or what would you want to do for them? You can word this question whichever way. So I want you to contemplate on this. Think of any one person in your mind, and then you don't have to tell us who the person is, but you can answer the questions in the chat box. Please type your answers in the chat box as you get your thoughts. Stay close with that person. Why do you like that person? What is in that person that you like very much? Is it their appearance or their way of speaking or their knowledge, or what is it that you like about them that makes you like them? What is it about the person that makes you like them? The person gives me happiness. Okay. What about that person gives you happiness? Why does that person, why do you think that person makes you happy? What about them? Their demeanor, their purity of thoughts, okay? Their way of conduct, the way they think, okay? Good. The person's uprightness, okay? Straightforwardness, uprightness. Very good, very good. What else? There's no correct answer. Whatever is natural for you, please give your natural answer. Very good. It makes me feel safe and heard. That person listens to you. It makes you feel safe with that person. Okay. Discipline of that person. Very good. Discipline. Discipline is something we all adore. The way the person talks to me and makes me feel about myself is the reason I love them. Okay. That person makes me feel good about myself. Hmm. Nice. Makes me feel more confident about myself. Good. What would you wish for that person? What do you expect? Do you expect them to give you something, or would you want to give something to them, whoever they are? Would you want to give them something? Do you look for something from them, specific, something very specific from them, like money or education or anything, whatever? May that person always be happy and content. Okay. I would wish the person continues to influence and inspire many others. Very good. Mostly their presence is enough. Okay, very good. I wish the person is always safe and good and expect the person to be with me in the thick and thin of my life. Okay, very good. Very good. Good. Okay, now let's take all these answers forward. Okay, where the reasons, and you can continue to contemplate on these questions after this class too. But now I just want to make a statement that normally we think of fellow human beings like this, and we don't think about God in these terms. For us, God is somebody who's very distant. For some of us, God is just an abstraction. We just think that there is some higher power or some unseen energy, and we call that as God. But some of us also are willing to accept that God is actually a person like us. And that is what Bhagavad-Gita and Bhagavatam reveal to us. Now, we don't normally, or we are not trained to think about God in these terms. We don't think about God as somebody likable. We don't think of what should we really expect from God. Okay, if at all we go to a temple to pray to God, we often go with the intention to ask for something in return. That please help me through this anxiety, through this difficulty, and then I will do this puja. Or first you do the puja and then you ask in return, now that I have done this puja, please do this for me. So, what exactly should we ask from him? Our understanding is limited to that. We offer something to God in the temple or through some panda or pujari or somebody, and then we expect that by doing that something will come now from God. My marriage will be successful, or something will happen, something very concrete. So it's a transactional kind of understanding of God. We don't think of God like the way we think of a fellow human being. Just like you answered now, we like something in that person and we just want that person to be always happy, right? Or we just want that person to be present in our life. We don't think of God normally like that. Many people don't think like that, right? But that is actually what Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam educate us to think about God as. We have to learn to think about God as somebody who's very likable. He's a person like us with emotions, with feelings. And just like fellow human beings, he can be liked and he likes us. We should learn how to experience that liking. That is the goal. And learn to live with that person. We should always live with that person in our life. Bring that person into our life and live with them. How do we do that? The first step is this: listening to his narratives, listening to his qualities, listening to the tattva, the knowledge about him, the tattva that's given in Gita, Bhagavatam, and other Shastra. By listening to all this, we begin to become aware of his presence, his qualities, about his nature, and about the fact that we can actually relate with him like we relate with a fellow human being. And by doing that, our life completely transforms for the better. We become completely different from what we are. We experience a different level of existence, even as we live in the world and do all our activities. Now we are doing with a person who is very loving, who is very kind, who is very close to us. So now with this, let's go forward. Now you can see Vasudeva and Devaki, they are so fortunate. For them, it's not just a philosophy. For us, it's right now reading Bhagavatam, reading Bhagavad Gita, and hearing about him. We come to know about him and we are trying to develop a conviction. But for Vasudeva and Devaki, it is not just that. It is actually Pratyaksha. Bhagavan is in front of them, right? He has appeared there. So, how do they respond to it? That's what we're going to see now. So, Vasudeva begins with his prayers. So, he first offers stuti to Bhagavan. As soon as he sees this form, he's overwhelmed. He's overwhelmed by emotion. He's excited. And we heard in the last session when we talked about this that he immediately he celebrated Janmotsava, right? Because he could not go outside. He could not celebrate like a normal father who has a child. In his mind, immediately he offered 10,000 cows, 10,000 go to all the Brahmanas. That's the Vedic way of celebration. One of the aspects of that celebration is to offer something in dan, and Godan is considered as one of the supreme forms of dan. So immediately Vasudeva did that. Being in the prison, he could not do anything else. So after that, what did he do? So he offered stuti, and his stuti is given in so many shlokas. After his stuti is Devaki's stuti. Mother Devaki offers her stuti. Both of them offer stuti one after the other, and together this spans 19 shlokas in the Dashama Skandha's third chapter. But I'm not going to go through all of them. I'm just going to show you the concluding shlokas which Mother Devaki is offering. So in a stuti, the last three shlokas I'm reading out. जन्मते मय्यसौ पापो मा विद्यान् मधुसूदन समुद्विजे भवद्धेतोः कंसादहमधीरधीः She says, after offering all her stuti, and in that stuti she has said various things, and then at the end of it she says that you have been born from me. You have taken birth in my womb and you have appeared like this. May that sinful fellow, Kamsa, may he not know about it. Okay, she is praying. Of course, she knows that he will come to know about it shortly, but she is hoping against hope that may that fellow not know about it because I'm so anxious. She says, Samudvije bhavadhetoho. I'm so concerned about you because I'm so scared of what he will do. Naturally, imagine a mother who has gone through six previous births in which each baby who was born, which Kamsa immediately came and killed, what kind of experience she had, what a horrifying experience she had. Naturally, she would wish that for her eighth child as well. The seventh child, anyway, was in her perspective a miscarriage. But the eighth child, at least let it survive. And it is not an ordinary child, it's a special child, and it has come with a mission. She knows that. So let nothing happen, let nothing untoward happen. So she just offers the shloka. And then she says, उपसंहर विश्वात्मन् अधो रूपमलौकिकं शङ्खचक्र गदा पद्म श्रियाजुष्टं चतुर्भुजं. She says, please now withdraw this form that you're showing us with the Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, the Vishnu form, with all the Aishwarya, Shriya. Shriya means the wealth, beautiful bangles. His body is adorned with so many jewels and bangles and the Kaustubha Mani and Vaidurya Mani and all the, the grandeur about him. Please withdraw all that and become like a normal baby. Because she doesn't want Kamsa to see that form. Okay, she has already digested, she already taken in that form and understood who he is. Now she says, please take it back. And then she concludes, she says, Vishwam yadetat swatanau nishante yathavakasham purushah paro bhavan bibharti soyam mama garbhago bhut aho nrilokasya vidambanam hitat. She signs off with this realization. She says, this entire universe is actually residing in your body, in all the gaps in your body. Yatha avakasham means wherever there is a space in your body. Actually, this universe is nothing but one of his forms, the Bhagavan's forms. And so she says this entire universe is actually residing inside you. And that person actually was residing in my womb. The person in whom the entire universe resides was now inside my womb and has now appeared from my womb. What a what a fortune I had. And she says this is nothing but I'm not really your mother in that sense, but this is my great fortune that I had the opportunity to be the medium through which you appeared. And she says, Aho nrilokasya vidambhanam. This is not an ordinary human birth. This is just, you're appearing like a baby in this form is just like a disguise. You're actually tricking, you're actually fooling the whole world by appearing like a small baby. You're lokasya vidambanam. Vidambanam means it's like a trickery. You're tricking the whole world, deceiving the world by appearing like a baby. You're not an ordinary human baby. So, with these words, she stops. With all humility, she bows down to her child, who is Vishnu himself, and she stops. So, what did they cover in those 19 shlokas? To give you a summary, first thing they touch upon is the grandeur. They are very, very conscious that it's not ordinary human child like the first six children that were born. Uh, they say, both of them say, you are everything. You are the origin, the sustenance, the sink of this universe. Uh, Nothing. Then they pray for his protection. Say, please protect us. Please destroy the wicked and protect us and protect all the good citizens who are here. Then they also express their trust in him. They say that we know that you have come for this purpose. We know that you will destroy the wicked, and we feel confident. You see, mixed emotions. On the one hand, they are praying to him for protection, and on the other hand, they're expressing confidence that he can do it, and they are also expressing awe in him, expressing awe in his grandeur. He's quietly listening to it, and they're expressing awe. It's just like a celebrity comes, let's say the king of this country, or let's say now it is the prime minister or the president of India comes, and you get an opportunity to directly speak to them. And probably these words may come, Sir, you are so great, you have achieved so much in your life. You want to express your appreciation for that person. So all emotions are going in their mind. And finally, this emotion too, the anxiety, like we just heard Devaki expressing her anxiety for his well being, despite the fact that they know that he is the supreme and he's the most powerful, everything they know, but still they feel anxious because that fatherly and motherly love is there. Vatsalya bhav, it's called Vatsalya bhav. In bhakti, one of the bhavs of bhakti is this Vatsalya, feeling of being the parent of this person. Even if you know that person is the supreme, that Vatsalya bhav comes through, and we don't want even the slightest harm to come to you. So Kamsa is after you. We are very, very concerned about you. Both of them express this concern. So after this, what happens? Sri Bhagavan now starts speaking. So he speaks, and here he expresses why he became a son of Devaki and Vasudeva. And his conversation here also reveals why he is attracted to anybody in general. Okay, just like we did an exercise on what we like in somebody else. So Sri Bhagavan also, like us, looks for something in somebody to be attracted to them. He is not attracted to everyone, but he is attracted to some people particularly. Why is he attracted to them? And that is something that we ought to really investigate and know, because that inspires us to become like that. So we should be so good that God is attracted to us. And what is that? So he narrates two previous births in which he was their child. So their two previous births in which he became their child, and they are not aware of that, or at least they don't remember that now. It's not in their conscious memory. So the first was when he was the son, he became the son of Prishni and Sutapa. Devaki, Mother Devaki, was in her earlier birth Prishni, and Vasudeva was a Prajapati named Sutapa. Prajapatis are people in this universe whose responsibility is to create fresh population. So this happens periodically when creation happens. You see, this universe goes through multiple cycles of creation and destruction. It is not just once created and then once destroyed. Yes, of course, the universe as a whole is created once in the beginning of Brahma's life, before Brahma is created. And then Brahma is born from the navel of Vishnu. And then he is given the charge of populating, creating the different infrastructural elements, the different systems of places where people or living beings can populate. And then the living beings themselves, the jivatmas, their bodies, their different births are his responsibility, all the different sages, etc. So one of the first things Brahma does is he creates in his mind, from his mind, what are called as Prajapatis. And those Prajapatis in turn, they create different living beings. Means they create the bodies of the living beings. Living beings are never created, they have no birth, right? All are Jivatma. And the Jivatmas have no birth or no death, they have no destruction, like you and me. We are all Jivatmas. Our bodies are created and destroyed, so we take different births. So when the cycle of a particular universe starts, the Prajapatis have the responsibility of creating the bodies of the living beings and giving them their first birth in that particular cycle. Let's say the beginning of a particular day of Brahma. And then onwards, the population expands through them. And subsequently, again, after several millions of years, there is a Mahapralaya in which everything goes back into Brahma's body and Brahma sleeps. Again, the next day of Brahma, the fresh creation happens. Again, Prajapatis come. And similarly, this happens during the day of Brahma. After every Manvantara, there are 14 Manvantaras in a day of Brahma. And at the end of each Manvantara, there is one Pralaya and again a fresh creation. So each time the Prajapatis play a role. So Sutapa was one such Prajapati. Among the countless number of Prajapatis that have come and gone, Sutapa was one such Prajapati. And the story goes that once after his, when he was considered a very, very pure-hearted person. He and his wife both were very pure-hearted. They were not interested in sensual enjoyment. They were interested only in contemplating on Bhagavan and taking pleasure in that realization of God. So Brahma instructs them that now it's your job to create children. So please start creating children. So as they think of how they are going to go about that, they think that we should have a very divine child. We should have divine children. So they do enormous amount of tapasya. So all this is narrated by this child Krishna, now who is lying in front of Vasudeva and Devaki, still in his four-handed form as Vishnu. He's still like that, and he's talking. He's talking to them that, look, uh, you are Sutapa and you are Prishni. And so as Sutapa, you are very pure-hearted and you did a lot of tapas. In fact, the word Sutapa means Sushtu Tapaha, or Sushtu Tapaha Yasya Saha, one who has perfect tapasya. So they performed enormous amount of tapasya, and because of their purity, Sri Bhagavan was attracted to them. So as he narrates, he says that I appeared to you as Vishnu, and I was so pleased with your tapasya that I asked you, please tell me what do you want from me. Whatever you want, I will grant you that boon. So then you asked me that please bless us with a son who is just like you. Please give us a child who is just like you. So then I said, Tathastu, and I went back. And after going back, I contemplated on the boon I have given you, and I realized that there is no one just like me. How do I fulfill that boon? There's no one in this universe who is just like me. And this actually, is a realization that he is the perfect personality. There's no one comparable to him. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is a biography of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the author Krishnadas Kaviraj, he cites Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying this. The shloka is spoken by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and present in this book. This shloka describes the qualities of Krishna as expressed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It says, Shri Lajja Daya Kirti Dhairya Vaisharadi Mati Yei Saba Krishne Pratishtita Sushila Mridu Vadanya Krishna Samanahi Anya Krishna Kare Jagate Rahita. This is in Bengali. Okay, I'm trying to read out the words in Bengali. I'm reading the English portion because I can't read the original Bengali. So these qualities Mahaprabhu lists here. He says Shri. Shri means grandeur or wealth or beauty, extraordinary beauty. Lajja means shyness, very, very shy, reserved. People who are reserved or shy, introverted, who won't readily accept something, whom you need to compel. For example, if they come to your house and if you want to offer them something, what will you take? They say, nothing, nothing. We don't want anything. At least have some water. No, no, no. I just had water before I came. So like this, you have to compel them, and then with some compulsion, they will finally accept. Okay, people who are very reserved, shy. This is lajja, and lajja is considered actually a divine quality, where you are hesitant to take anything from anyone. You're very reserved. Okay, daya. Daya means kindness. Kindness. So extraordinary kindness. Kirti. Kirti means fame or glory. Okay, extraordinary fame, the most famous personality. Dhairya means firmness, steadiness, resoluteness. Okay, nobody is like him. Vaisharadi Mati means very wise intelligence, very wise thinking, wisdom, very high level of wisdom. Okay, Ei Sabha Krishna Pratishtita means these are all present in Krishna. And further, more than that, Sushilaha. Sushilaha means one who is very expert, who is very skilled in whatever he does. Mriduhu. Mriduhu means very soft. He's not a harsh personality, very soft, gentle personality. Vadanyaha. Vadanyaha means one who is very generous, who's very generous, forthcoming. He just very readily willing to give. If somebody wants something and he says this person deserves it, very readily he will give that person. It says Krishna Sama Nahi Anya. There is nobody like Krishna. Krishna Kare Jagate Rahita. So Krishna does what is good for this world. He comes to this world to do good for this world. This is Mahaprabhu's description of Krishna. So Sri Bhagavan, he contemplates on himself. He says, I have to now bless them with a child who is just like me. And how do I do that? The only way I can do that is I should become their child. Only if I become their child can I fulfill that boon I have given them. So he becomes their child. So he says, therefore, I became myself your child and I was known as Prishnigarbha. In that avatar, he is called Prishnigarbha. Okay, this avatar is also not listed in the 10 avatars. So normally, in general knowledge, we say there are 10 avatars of Vishnu. Okay, that is just a typical, very narrow understanding of Vishnu or Krishna or our knowledge system in general, because if you really understand our knowledge system, there's much more to it. And if you talk about the avatars of Vishnu, infinite avatars it describes. And Krishna Garbha is one of them. There are so many other names of avatars given in the different Puranas. So this was the first of the three births that Sri Bhagavan is now narrating them. The second birth is as Upendra or Vamana, the son of Aditi and Kashyapa. So Aditi, Devaki was Aditi in the previous birth, and Vasudeva was the sage Kashyapa, or is the sage Kashyapa. So Kashyapa appears as Vasudeva. So Aditi and Kashyapa, the story goes that they are actually, Kashyapa is one of the Prajapatis, and Kashyapa Rishi, he is always in trance, just like in his previous birth as Sutapa. He's always in trance and doing tapasya, and his wife Aditi, like Mother Prishni, she's always in his service. Now, Kashyapa also has another wife called Diti. He has many wives, just like Vasudeva in his birth as Vasudeva, there are also many other wives. So, as Kashyapa too, he had many other wives. One of them was Diti. And Diti, her children are called Daityas. Ditehe apatyam pumam saha Daityaha. Similarly, Aditi's children are called Adityas. Okay, Diti's children are Daityas, Aditi's children are Adityas. The word Aditya comes from child of Aditi or son of Aditi. So there are 12 Adityas, we say, and Aditya is one of them is the sun, Surya Dev. So Indra, the king of Svargaloka, Indra is the son of Aditi, and he's called also called Aditya. One of his names is Aditya. So Indra is ruling Svargaloka, and at that time, the Daityas, who are now headed by the king Bali. Okay, Bali is the great grandson of Hiranyakashipu, the demon Hiranyakashipu, the Daitya Hiranyakashipu. We know the story of Hiranyakashipu, and Prahlad, the son of Hiranyakashipu, is the grandfather of Bali. And of course, Bali's son is Virochana. So Virochana's son, Bali's father is Virochana. Virochana is the son of Prahlad. So now Bali, he becomes very powerful. Okay, it's the time that Bali is ruling. That's where the story is now positioned. Vamana's appearance is when Bali is ruling. And Bali becomes very powerful. He is not happy with where he is living. He wants to conquer this universe, and he wants to particularly experience the happiness of Swargaloka. But he's not a deva. He's not given that position in Swargaloka. He's born as in the dynasty of the Daityas. So he's given his kingdom and he's ruling there, but he's not happy with it. So he does enormous amount of tapasya. He pleases the Brahmanas. He takes the blessings of his guru and all the Brahmanas whom he serves with a lot of humility. And he becomes very powerful. So with a very powerful army, he goes and stands outside Swargaloka. He doesn't have to fight with the Devas, but just by looking at his army, the Devas, they realize, Indra and the Devas realize that we cannot take on this person. He's very powerful. He's done a lot of tapasya and we cannot challenge him. So they quit. They just leave Swargaloka and go away, and Bali goes and occupies it. And now the Devas are in extreme anxiety because Swargaloka is their kingdom and they're supposed to be there and they're supposed to do all their duties. Now they are not doing it. And, they are like outcasts now. They have been sent to the forest. So they don't know what to do. And as they are panicking, Aditi, their mother, okay, Aditi is the mother of the Adityas, the Devas. And of course, the 12 Adityas are the prominent Devas. There are many other Devas too. So she is now lamenting, what do I do? This Bali has gone and kicked out my children. I should do something too. So she starts lamenting over it, and her ashram where they are staying, Aditi and Kashyapa, it's now in a mess because she is in great anxiety. So she is in that condition when Kashyapa comes from his tapasya. He's now gone away for a long time. He's meditating somewhere in the caves or mountains, and he comes back. And when he comes back, he finds this condition. He asks her what happened. So she tells him, and then he then consoles her. He gives her a lecture on philosophy. He tells her that, look, these are all temporary things. This is a material world and these things will happen. And after some time, they will come back. Don't worry about it. You continue with your tapasya. But, being a mother, she's not consoled by that. She's very, very anxious and she says, no, my children are suffering. How can I be happy? So please do something to protect them. Please do something to restore them back to Swargaloka. So then he says, okay, I'll give you an idea. You perform a vrata, do a tapasya and attract Vishnu again. and you ask him to help you, he will help you. So she says, okay. And he gives her a particular methodology, a particular kind of vrata called Payovrata. In Payovrata, it's a very intense vrata. It's done for 12 days continuously. And in those 12 days, that person goes through an enormous amount of, tapasya. That person has to observe a fast and drink only milk and nothing else. That's why it's called Payovrata. Payas means milk. So only survive on milk for 12 days, and not only just drink milk, but do a lot of other things like taking bath in the river at specific times, so many number of times, um, chanting specific mantras, doing specific puja of Vishnu. Particular murti of Vishnu is created, and then that murti is worshipped in a particular manner by offering flowers, incense, so many different things. Everything he teaches her, he gives her the full methodology and says, now follow this, you do this vrata, and he will come, and then you can ask him what you want. So she's very happy and she does that. She's anyway an expert in doing tapasya. So she does this 12 days of tapasya, which is described in the Bhagavatam. And after that, Vishnu appears before her and he says, Mother, what do you want? Please ask me. So she prays to him that, please protect my children. You know what has happened. Please restore them back to Swargalok. So he says, Tathastu, I will do that, and I'll do it by appearing as your son. And with that, he performs the famous Vamana Leela. Okay, we all know that Vamana Leela, in which he appears and then he goes to Bali's yajna, and then he takes those 3 steps. That's why it's called Urukrama, means massive steps. One who took those massive steps. And he gets the kingdom back for Indra and also blesses Bali in a different way. So both Bali is happy and Indra is also happy. Subsequent to that, Sri Bhagavan appears in their third birth as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. So all of them are the births of Krishna with the same parents in three different births. So now he is Krishna, the son of Devaki and Vasudeva, and he tells them that I told you all this because in this form as Vishnu, if I didn't appear like this and tell you all these things, then you also would not be sure that actually I have come as your son. But now, to give you that conviction and to make you completely aware without any doubt that I have come as your son, I appeared in this form, and I have now told you all these things. And he says, I will take care of you. So after saying this, he tells them, Yuam mam putra bhavena brahma bhavena chasakrit chintayantau kritasnehau yasyethe madgatim param. He says, now please worship me, or please, relate with me. Please connect with me both in Putra Bhav and Brahma Bhav, both together. Means Putra Bhav means as your son, as your child, and as the Supreme Being, Brahma. Brahma means that Supreme Being, not Lord Brahma. Brahma. Brahma means Vishnu. So thinking of me both as that Supreme Being Vishnu and as your son, in both ways, I bless you that you can think about me like that, and think about me like that all the time, and express your love to me by feeling this emotion of love to me in both these ways throughout your life. You will attain my state of existence. Madgatim param, you will come to me. Shri Shuka uvacha ityuktva sid haristushnim bhagavan bhagavan atmamayaya pitros sampashyatos sadyo babhuva prakritas sishuhu. So Shukamuni, now he concludes this section of the narrative. He says that after speaking all these words to his parents Vasudeva and Devaki, Bhagavan Hari, he, with his own Yoga Maya, by Atma Maya. So we've heard about how Yoga Maya came in between, right? So she's all the time helping him. So with the help of Yoga Maya, he converted himself from that form of Vishnu to that of a Prakrita Sishuhu, like an ordinary human child. So he changed from that form to the child, to the form of an ordinary human baby. And he became a human baby and he just lay there. So with this section of the narrative concludes, and what happens from here will be very dramatic. How he doesn't cry. One thing is that this little baby doesn't begin to wail like the first 6 children did, and then Kamsa came to know that the child is born, and he came running. So this child doesn't do that. It's Bhagavan, so he keeps quiet. And then even as Vasudeva is thinking what to do next, In his mind, he instructs, Bhagavan instructs him what to do next, and we will hear that it's a whole drama that happens after this, and we will listen to that in the next class. But today, after having heard all this, let's now think, to attract Bhagavan, we need to have inner qualities. Our qualities are what attracts Bhagavan. Just like he was attracted to Sutapa and Prishni, and then to Mother Aditi and, Kashyapa to become their son. Because of their purity, their tapasya, the way they attracted him. So what is it that we can do? 5 simple practices I have listed. The first is, the purity of heart comes when we develop gratitude. So let's begin each day by thinking about the people in our life who have helped us. We have taken help from so many people to reach where we are today. We have not come here by our own effort. Of course, we have also put in some effort, but if we think that merely by our effort we became what we are, then we are fools. We became what we are little bit by our effort, but majority because of others' help. So many people, beginning with our mother, father, grandparents, relatives, friends, or teachers in school, or teachers in college, and now our maybe spouses, our children, whoever. So many people have helped us, our partners in business, our friends. Everywhere we are taking help, and today we are whatever we are, and we are surviving. We are able to live sanely because of them. So let's begin each day by expressing this gratitude to all of them. Even if some of them in the course of life have been unkind to us, even then, let's be grateful that they were there in our life at some point. Maybe we fell out with them. Maybe our relationship with them is not so good for some reason. But whatever be that reason, at least at some point we took their help. Let's be grateful. So, gratitude is a quality that is very divine. Let's begin with gratitude and let's see that Krishna came to us through them. Krishna doesn't come to us directly because we don't have that adhikar. We don't have that purity, but he comes to us through them. Let's recognize that, and that way recognize the presence of Krishna. The second practice is this, that every day in the morning, let's begin by wishing well for all the people that we know. Okay? 3 types of people: the bad people, the people who don't like us. When I say bad, I don't mean they are bad, just mean that they are bad to us. That is, they have probably done something wrong to us, they have cheated us, or they have harmed us in some way, or they've spoken ill about us, they've insulted us, something they have done. It's true that we don't keep in touch with them. We cannot keep in touch with them because it doesn't work out. In normal transaction, we will keep in touch with people who are good to us, with whom we can interact in a proper manner. So we avoid their company. But even though we avoid their company, let's wish well for them. Let's in our mind wish that let there be good for them, let there be no harm for them. Okay, this property of wishing well even for the people who harmed us is a divine quality, and this attracts Krishna. And this is the Krishna in us. If where Krishna is present in a conscious way, when we are conscious of his presence and his qualities, then we think like this. Okay, so first is to the bad people, and then to the neutral people, people with whom we have no connection, people who have neither been good nor bad to us, people who are distant. There's so many, 8 million, 8 billion people in this world, and most of them we don't know, right? So I wish all of them well. And then the people who are good to us, there are people, so many people from whom we receive good every day. And obviously, we have to wish well for them too. If we have wished well for the first 2 categories, let's wish well for them too. And wishing well for others in general is a great quality. So let's begin the day like that. If we begin the day in that manner, then even if something goes wrong, we will have the strength, enormous amount of strength to withstand that. The third thing is to aspire for seva bhav. That is, seva bhav is that mentality which is present in Krishna to the best degree. Nobody else has it like him. That the desire to be able to contribute to this world without taking anything in return. Of course, in this life, for practical purposes, we do need to take something in return because we need to live. We need to live in a safe way, secure way. If we don't live in a safe, secure way, we can't do seva, right? So at least for doing seva, we need to have something with us. But this seva bhav is a mentality whereby the thinking is, I should give more than I take from this world. Okay, it's the opposite of swartha bhav. The swartha bhav you will see predominantly existing in this world, and it's considered very smart by people. Okay, the business thinking is like that. Business thinking is, how can I maximize my profit? How can I take more and give less? Okay, that's all business thinking is about. When can I look for that opportunity when I can increase the price? When can I take more profit from this guy? Okay, so this is business thinking. Seva bhav is the opposite of business thinking. It is thinking that how can I, how can I get the energy, the strength, the opportunity to be able to give more and be satisfied by not taking anything or taking the bare minimum that I should take, if at all I should take anything. So how can I do that? When can I do that seva bhav? Okay, it's not difficult to understand seva bhav because at some point of time in our life or many times in our life, we have experienced it. For example, we have shown love to maybe a small child, or we have shown love to an animal without taking anything in return from them. We have shown love to our, some friend when they were in trouble without expecting that that friend will reciprocate. Right? Many times we have shown, or sometimes, when we go when we are traveling on the road, we may see somebody who's hurt and lying on the side of the road. They need our help. Completely, they are strangers. We don't know who they are. They don't know us, and we may never see them again. But at that moment, we're there. We want to help them. Maybe we'll take them to a hospital, or at least give them some water to drink and make them feel better till some ambulance or something comes. We do some help, and they are in such a condition they cannot even say thank you to us. They don't even know us, and nobody knows us. Nobody even recognizes our help, and the crowd comes and they take them away and it's over, right? All of us have experienced maybe at least once in our life a situation like that. And that is seva bhav, where we did that and we felt satisfied. After doing that, we felt, that was nice. I mean, that is not the fact that the person was injured, but the fact that I could do something. I could at least give that person a handkerchief and wipe their injury and make them feel a little better. At least that much I could do. You feel good about it, and you wish in your mind that I hope they have reached the hospital and I hope they are getting relief. I hope they will survive. So this kind of thinking is seva bhav, wishing well for others without taking, and not just wishing well, but giving something to others, doing good for others without taking anything in return. And we should try to live our life to the extent possible. It may not be possible in all practical situations, but very often in life, in our occupation too, it's possible to practice seva bhav. And if we are able to practice this in life, Krishna is very attracted to us because this quality is the most prominent quality in him. This is what defines him. Seva Bhav is what defines Krishna, not his opulence, not his grandeur, not his power. Okay, that is how we think about God normally. Most people think of God as somebody very powerful, somebody who's very wealthy, who can give us something. But that is not his defining quality. Bhagavan's defining quality is his Seva Bhav. Okay, the fourth quality, the fourth practice that we can do is a commitment that we will treat everybody with respect. Okay, practically speaking, that should be our default condition. Default condition is to interact with everybody that we interact with respect, regardless of whether they are big people or small people, whether they are influential people or not influential people, whether they are rich or poor, it doesn't matter, right? By default, there is a certain level of respect. So it's not like somebody very rich and powerful, we respect them a lot. Somebody who's very weak and this thing, just treat him like a piece of dirt. No, we treat everybody equally with respect. But of course, there are situations when you have to vary that. The situations when you have to deal harshly with people. Okay, that is required in practical life. And at that time, we should do that. Okay, finally, the most important thing is this, which supports all the other practices, is contemplate on the inside. All spirituality, all real knowledge begins from inside. It is inside us. Everything is inside us. We are complete internally ourselves. There is nothing we really need to acquire from outside if we have actually discovered the inside. So, this contemplation early in the morning, getting up and sitting in front of God and contemplating that, I am actually a part of God. I'm fully complete. I really don't need anything from this world. I'm already fully complete. I just have to do my duty as a matter of existence. That's all. So, this kind of contemplation actually makes us very, very attractive to God and makes us very, very strong, internally very strong. And this internal strength is our real strength. It is the strength which gives us happiness, and it is the strength that makes others also happy. So, with these words, I will stop for today and I will now unmute all of you. And I will be very happy to hear your questions, comments, etc. Thank you for joining this session. Anyone, please feel free to raise your hand, offer any comment, anything you want to say or ask.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Who's speaking? Anjana. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Anjana.
So in the last uh, s- step, that contemplation on our inner completeness,
Yeah.
does that also involve? So we have also discussed a few activities in the previous sessions, like introspection of where we could have been better if we, uh, you know, if we were not like our best in certain situations. So, like contemplation also involves introspection, or this is just contemplating about our connection with the God and feeling complete.
Yes. Actually, by itself, this point means contemplation on our inner, nature as the Jivatma. We are pure. We are free from all anxiety. Our pure nature is that. Although we may not experience that nature now, when we contemplate, we remind ourselves of that nature. We remind ourselves again and again that this is what we are. And as we contemplate on our inner nature, we also contemplate on ourselves as a servant of Bhagavan. Bhagavad Dasoham. I am his servant. I am a part of him, and he is my dearest person. He is so dear to me. I am dear to him. This contemplation. This is the basic contemplation. And this may be just for a few minutes, maybe a minute or two or three. We just contemplate on this. Maybe you're sitting in front of a picture of Bhagavan in front of us, or a murti or a deity of Bhagavan. As we look at him, we contemplate on this. And along with that, introspection also may happen as we realize why is it that we are not able to feel that, feel exactly what we are contemplating on. It's because of our own anarthas, those qualities in us like greed or arrogance, ahankara, our own short temper, or whatever shortcomings we have. We contemplate on the qualities that we hear about in the Shastra. So we realize, we contemplate, and as we contemplate, we sort of introspect on those transactions those thoughts will come as you do this. Those thoughts will come that you interacted with somebody and what you said, what they said. Why did you react like that? We could have reacted better. I could have handled it in a different way. Or now onwards, I'm going to handle the situation like this. I'm going to pull myself inside. So pulling ourselves inside is a natural evolution. It's a natural consequence of this contemplation. We learn to withdraw inside and look at the world through that lens, through the lens of that purity. And accordingly, our dealings with everybody changes. So introspection is also involved.
Okay, okay, sir. So maybe gradually it will decrease, and the inner uh, completeness will increase.
Yeah,
Maybe like
something that we
the
need to
worldly
do
thoughts
by
will
practice.
reduce.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
It will
But
be gradual.
they can be there. We don't have to like shoo them away in the process, but slowly and gradually, I think we'll be more bent towards the inner completeness and our connection with God, and how we assume our role as the servant of God. That will dominate in the long run. I understand.
Yes. By doing it repeatedly, daily for some time in the morning, give a good amount of time, not just 2, 3 minutes. I said 2, 3 minutes for the last point, but let us say, for example, japa, Harinama japa. Harinama japa is one very good way to contemplate on him because we actually, through the names, the name of Bhagavan is himself. It's not different from him. So as we contemplate on his name, we're actually contemplating on him and we are feeling his presence in us at that time. So, for example, if somebody sits for 1 hour continuously, just doing japa by counting, japa is done by counting on the beats. Okay, anybody wants, I can teach them one on one how to do it. I don't want to go into that methodology in a lecture like this. But if somebody contacts me separately, I can teach them how to do it. Now, that is a method by which you spend 1 hour or whatever time, how much ever time you can spare. But if you spare more amount of time in the morning, early morning, you let that occupy your thoughts, then the rest of the day becomes very different. You feel his presence throughout the day in whatever you do, and you get more energy, more, you know, more enthusiasm to do whatever you're doing. So this contemplation is very powerful. Gradually, it becomes, makes us, it transforms our thinking. Gradually, it changes the way we look at this world, and we feel good about it. It makes us feel better and better that we are doing it.
And gradually, the weightage of worldly affairs also goes down, I think, like either good or bad, but we'll feel unaltered by worldly situations.
Yes. We learn to interpret the worldly phenomena. See, the worldly phenomena will not change when we change. What changes is inside. Outside will
Right.
remain the same, the way it's going on. But the way we react to that or way we interpret it, our interpretation of the world changes, and therefore our reaction to it changes. And therefore our mind remains now calm in more situations. The variation in the mental states from happiness to anxiety, that goes away, or that becomes subdued. The variation becomes more subdued and we become more uniform. Sthita
Right. Like,
pragyata. Sthita pragyata
exactly.
develops over time.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Now we can relate it. Yes, sir.
Right? Yes.
Thank you.
Very good. Yes, Udit, please.
Good evening, sir. My question is around how do you practice the thought of people who are bad to you, not cursing them and rather having or wishing well to them. So, and that also increases with the magnitude of bad that somebody does. Say, for example, somebody cheats me of 100, 200 rupees, I would be like, okay. But if somebody comes, hits me, and I'm involved in an accident, maybe I'll curse them more. And that would be the natural instinct that generally stays. And while, practice is something that can help, can you suggest some ways so as to, so as to reduce the amount of ill that you'll speak of others rather than speaking or wishing well for them?
Okay. Now, for people who have cheated us, let's take an example of a person whom we trusted a lot, and that person betrays us out of their own greed. And we can make out, everybody can make out that out of greed or out of their own brashness, they have cheated us. Or let's take another case where a person has been very unkind to us. We have done a lot of work for them, but they have actually condemned us without expressing gratitude. Okay. So, different ways in which people have been very unkind to us and so on. We've experienced that. Now, how do we deal with that situation? First of all, if there is a way in which we can stop that person from cheating us, we should do that. But if we cannot, okay, now I'm talking about afterwards, the post mortem. It's over. Now we cannot do anything about what has happened. That past is over. Okay, now at that moment when that happens, obviously, as human beings, all of us will react. Everybody. We see even great sages at that point of time, there is a reaction. Okay, we may use abusive language at that point of time or get angry and ask that person to get lost, get out, etc. And that is fine. At that reaction is over with that. And of course, if you have been practicing sadhana, then that reaction also will be controlled. You will react, but you will react in a more controlled and mature manner. You will not do anything for which you may have to go to jail or something. You will just react and let it go. It's over. Then you are able to withdraw from that. That's called resilience. Means you are able to pull yourself out. You come back. You say that I will never keep in touch with that person again. I will cut off. I have learned. Now I have learned my lesson. That person will not be in my life. I will not be. But I will not wish ill for them too. Okay, this is what requires the strength. Because the mind naturally will come. It will come again and again. Repeatedly, the mind will, you know, develop negative thoughts towards them. Okay, today you calm the mind down, tomorrow again negative thoughts will come, and this will come repeatedly over time. It may decrease in frequency, but once in a while again a negative thought will come. Something that happened 10 years back, you'll remember that person. 20 years back, you'll remember that person. Okay, that person did this to me. Okay, but this is where, when the negative thought starts coming, this is where sadhana teaches us that we calm the mind and say, you start chanting Krishna's name or chant Narayana, Narayana. You chant the name. When that negative thought comes, chant Narayana, Narayana, Krishna, Krishna. Let that thought go away. no, I will not think like this. Okay. Immediately a voice inside you should come up and say, no, I will not think like that. That thinking is not going to benefit me, not going to benefit anyone. It will not benefit anybody, nor will it change that person. So instead, you start thinking the positive. You say that no, whatever it is, wherever that person is, let that person's mentality change. Let that person become a better person. That person is a cruel person, but let that person's mentality become better and let them be happy, whatever they are doing. So this takes support, this kind of thinking also takes support from the realization that after all, nothing in this world anyway belongs to us, right? We are not, we have come here, we came here without anything, came here naked, no clothes also, and we are going to go out naked also. When we go out also, we are not going to take our clothes with us. It will be there on the body. We have left the body. So we don't bring anything, we don't take anything, we just experience something in this world. Nothing belongs to us. So when we start contemplating on such truths of the reality, that's why reality is taught in Bhagavad Gita. So we are able to contemplate on these truths. So when that negative thought of that person comes, which will come again and again, we contemplate on this reality and say, let it go. Whatever money has gone, it had to go from me. Something I did in the past, some karma I did, that person had to cheat me maybe in a previous birth. So this is how I reconcile with myself, that I must have done something to him in the previous birth. That is why in this birth, he came in my life like this and he did something to me. Or in this birth, I did something wrong to somebody else and that came through this person. The reaction for that came through this person. I accept it. Let it go. Now I'm not going to interact with that person again, but I wish well for them. Let it happen. So in this way, we cultivate, we talk to ourselves with logic. Our contemplation on Shastra, knowledge of Shastra helps us, gives us the strength. And also we think of examples in the Shastra, people like Yudhishthira or people like Prahalad, who never had a sense of revenge in them, who never had, they were able to, they were already in such a state that those negative thoughts never came to them. They were already beyond. That's where we are trying to get there. Now we are practicing our mind to go there. So by this repeated practice, those negative thoughts slowly come down. And I'm sharing all this from my experience, my own, what I do with myself, I'm sharing with you. So it's not just theoretical. It is possible to do this. And when you do it, you actually experience that sweetness within yourself. You feel good in yourself that you did that. You feel grateful that you could do that. You feel happy. It's actually strength. It is inner strength being able to do that.
Yes, sir. Actually, I speak this from a personal experience that pre MBA when I was working, I met with an accident and it was supposedly not a fault of mine, is what I feel. That person randomly came out. I was on my scooter and I collided and I broke my leg. So at that point of time, I felt very bad, probably abused him, and all of that happened. But now that I look in hindsight, that was the turning point where I could prepare for my B school preparation would be there, and then I went to Accelerate, and then things happened. So now I feel that it was probably something that came in as a disguise. I mean, it was a blessing in disguise, although it feels bad at that point of time. So that's the reason. Another thing that I could think of is that when you work in a corporate culture, you find a lot of people taking away your credit. That you do something and then just like that somebody from a leadership team comes and says that what, my team was actually driving it and not this person, and then you're dumbstruck that you're probably again abusing that person or thinking wrong or thinking ill of them. So how to control? I think that one of the examples that you gave, thinking about that maybe in a previous life you would have done something wrong, and or maybe another thing could be that maybe this thing sort of turns out good in itself, maybe 5 years, 10 years down the line.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing these experiences with us. Absolutely. That's the way that we think. That's the Indian way of thinking. That's the Bharatiya way of thinking. And it helps us to transcend that sense of revenge. If a sense of revenge comes inside us or a grudge that's inside us, this destroys that grudge completely. And this is what attracts God towards us. If you're able to do this consistently and go and we take his help also, please help me to overcome that grudge. Please help me. Please come inside me and destroy the grudge. Just like in you, there is no grudge. Tell Krishna that you don't have any grudge towards anybody. The same way, please bless me also with that quality. Please give me the strength to overcome this. And he will reciprocate. It really happens. It really happens. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Hmm. Anyone else? Do you have any question or any comment or any experience to share from your side?
Pranam, sir.
Pranam,
I have a
Pranam.
question.
Huh? Little loudly, little louder.
Experience to share. Sir, I don't have any experience to share, but my
Swapnil, your voice is cracking. Your voice is not clear. Can you bring your microphone closer or something? Swapnil?
yes, sir. Sir, I'm trying to see. I think signal is weak, sir, and the
Yeah,
Wi-Fi has gone out. So
yeah.
my question is on the slide that is currently visible. So these five inner qualities, are they in any chronological fashion, or like I'm very attracted to point number three. So in my life, I want to keep point number three as my priority.
No, they are not chronological. They should all be done at the same time. Every day we should think, how can we practice this? Every day we should think, how can I bring more of this in my life? It's not something we can do overnight, but as we do this day after day after day, it becomes stronger and stronger and stronger in us. And it will become natural then. We don't have to keep a list of points like this. Naturally, all of this will come in us. It's not chronological.
Yes, sir. And it's not chronological, and we also cannot pick and choose. All these five needs to be done together. Like I'm very attracted to point number three,
Yeah, yeah.
but few of the points I'm not so attracted. I cannot have a discretion on this.
Okay, you do point number three properly, the other things also will develop along with it. You do any one of them, others also will develop. They are all correlated. They're actually not separate from each other, but they are expressed in a distinct manner. Each of them has got their own feet, but they all come together. So you focus on point number three, and as you practice that, the others also will develop in you. They should develop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Thank you, sir.
Rohit,
Pranam, sir.
pranam, pranam.
So my question is related to something in life that I face sometimes. So when I have my perspective is that I let God take decisions or take me where I'm meant to go, and I will simply do my dharma and kartavya, swadharma, whatever it is, at that moment. But sometimes when it appears that God is taking me towards something or God is taking me away from something I would like, and I am aware, I feel myself being aware that okay, there are certain things that are happening where God is sort of taking me away, but still my mind is it's wavering slightly. So then with what attitude and perspective should I approach the situation?
Like, can you give me a illustration
Right,
of that so I can
right, sir.
understand this better?
Yes, sir. So, for example, recently I was developing an algorithm for stock trading. And initially, there was a sort of doubt in my mind because I perceived this as basically a zero sum game and somebody else will lose money. And that's not how I wanted to make money. Right? But then I did a bit of research and then I did a bit of thinking. And then somehow I convinced myself to go ahead with it. But I was still not very clear. So then I sat in front of Bhagwan and then I had this sankalpa and then I did japa for a few days saying if it is okay for me to do this, then you take me on that direction. If not, you take me away from it. So then I did this. And then after a few days, no matter what I did, if I tried to pursue this direction, something or the other happened and it took me away from it every time. Right.
Okay.
And then this sort of made me realize, okay, this is clearly a sign from God. That's the way I took it. And then, but still my mind is not understanding why this is happening. So this is where I am slightly conflicted.
So you felt that because you contemplated on God and then you started doing it, And then you
Correct.
found that there were obstacles that it was not going through.
Yes, sir.
So you feel that, yes, that is God's way of responding, that
Yes,
He
sir.
doesn't want me to do this,
Yes, sir.
but you still have a desire to do it. You still feel you want to do it.
Yes, sir. At the same time, I understand because the way in these situations happened also, it's quite clear to me that God like does not want me to do it. See, everything else is going well in life, but then when I start to do this, something or the other very unexpected happens. It just prevents me from working on this, basically. So I realize, or I believe that I have faith that God does not want me to do it, but I'm conflicted in understanding why not.
Why
There is
He does
a
not,
right.
why
There is
God
that
does not want you to do it.
correct, sir. There is some sort of desire. I don't want to do it now because I'm convinced, but some sort of desire of yearning some logical mindset, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So sometimes our hidden desires actually they drive us towards activities which may not be the best for us.
Right.
And we don't know what is wrong with them. We are not able to figure out. So maybe your hunch is right. Maybe your hunch is right that Sri Bhagavan doesn't want you to do that for your own good. So you can probably tell yourself that let me hold it for some time. Maybe I'll come back to it after a year or so. For now, let me not do it because it's not working out. Maybe this is God's signal for me that He doesn't want me to do it, like you're believing now.
Got
And
it.
let time pass. After time passes, you may develop more clarity on why it did not work out. Was it really God's intention to prevent you from not doing it, or did God want you to do the same thing in a different way? Maybe He wanted you to approach that same thing in through some other route, or maybe He wants you to go through some other things first in life and then come to that thing. Maybe that. So those things become clear with time. See, God doesn't always respond to us directly, no? He
Hmm.
comes through different ways, through experiences. He gives us a realization. Yes, now I can understand why this happened to me. So this will happen after some time. So right now, hold it and then do other things that you're doing in your occupation, and then eventually this may get resolved in your mind.
Got it, sir. So what you're saying is basically just be patient and just have faith. Is
Yeah.
that right? Okay.
Yes, be patient, have conviction that there is something in his mind. That's why maybe it's not working out now. Let me focus on other things, my normal duties, and eventually this may work out one day. Or something else may happen by which I may understand why this is not working out.
Got it, sir.
So you will get clarity. The clarity you lack now, right now you are in a dilemma, why it's not working out, why does God not want me to do it? That may get answered after some time, over time. Yeah.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions? Anyone else? Or shall we close for today? You can chant the Antyamangalam. Please join me for the Hare Krishna mantra in the last part of the Antyamangalam. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यो शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे धन्यवादाः नमस्काराः पुनर्मिलामः थैंक यू एवरीवन